தாய்தான் பிற்காலத்தில் காக்க மாட்டாளா? படிக்க வேணும் சிறக்க வேணும் நிகராயானும் பெண்ணும், படிக்க வேணும் சிறக்க வேணும் நிகராயானும் பெண்ணும், பிஞ்சு நெஞ்சிலே விதைக்க வேண்டும் சமத்துவத்தின் எண்ணம் எண்ணம், அச்சம் நாணம் அடப்பயிர்ப்பு ஆகிய சிற்கள் வெறும் பசப்பு. குடும்ப வாரிசு ஆண்டானா குல பெருமை சொல்வதும் ஆண்டானா, குடும்ப வாரிசு ஆண்டானா குல பெருமை சொல்வதும் ஆண்டானா, பழங்கதை சாத்திரம் பல பேசி தள்ளி வைக்கிறார் பெண் குலத்தை, பெண்ணும் இங்கே குலத்தின் பெருமை பேச மாட்டாளா? பெண்ணும் இங்கே குலத்தின் பெருமை பேச மாட்டாளா? முத்துலட்சுமி வள்ளியம்மை போல் ஆக மாட்டாளா? வாழ வேண்டும் வெல்ல வேண்டும் நிகராயானும் பெண்ணும், வாழ வேண்டும் வெல்ல வேண்டும் நிகராயானும் பெண்ணும், பிஞ்சு நெஞ்சிலே விதைக்க வேண்டும் சமத்துவத்தின் எண்ணம் எண்ணம், அச்சம் நாணம் அடப்பயிர்ப்பு ஆகிய சொற்கள் வெறும் பசப்பு. இச்சை கிளியாய் போக பொருளாய் இருப்பதுதானா பெண் பொறுப்பு, இருப்பதுதானா பெண் பொறுப்பு, அச்சம் நாணம் அடப்பயிர்ப்பு ஆகிய சொற்கள் வெறும் பசப்பு. நன்றிங்க சார். நன்றிங்க சார்.
நன்றி 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 முத்துலட்சுமி மேடம். தேங்க்யூ. So this is the time to welcome one and all. And so it's a great pleasure for me to welcome each and everyone gathered here. And education is the passport to go into the world and to excel in the world. And today we are celebrating the Teachers' Day, and my sincere thanks to all the teachers who are gathered here. And also I wish them a happy Teachers' Day. And what we are today are only because of our teacher. Even though we are also a teacher, that is also because of our teacher. I thank all the teachers for their hard work to make each and every citizen into a give a bright future. And first of all, I welcome our chief guest, Dr. Shakila Madam, for her acceptance, being a speaker, resource person amidst his busy schedule. வந்துட்டேன், அதுதான் பேச முடியல.
Hello. Hello.
Yes. Sorry, audience. Some network issue. That's why some silence here. Okay.
சார் திருப்பி மியூட் ஆயிடுச்சு சார். திருப்பி மியூட் ஆயிடுச்சு சார்.
Yes. Okay. And I welcome each and every participant, mostly teachers that are gathered here. Tamilnadu Science Forum members are here. Tamilnadu Science Forum from Madurai and other districts. And welcome each and everyone gathered here for this webinar. And also I welcome the participants from North India, Kashmir, Assam, Lucknow, and there are many people from North India. And I welcome each and everyone. And this is the occasion where we can gather through online, and we can talk, and also we can see each other to exchange the thoughts, knowledge through this media. I thank and also as well as welcome each and everyone for this seminar. Thank you. Rajamanikam sir. Sir Rajamanikam sir, you can unmute. I request Rajamanikam sir, who is the Vice President, All India Science People Network, to introduce our chief guest, Dr. Sakila Madam, to this forum.
Good morning to all. I feel very happy to join in this webinar. It is a great occasion. This is being well organized by Professor Rajesh of American College and President of Madurai District Tamilnadu Science Forum, in collaboration with our friends, YouTube friends, Spotlight. This is the second time we are organizing this webinar with the help of the Spotlight friends. We really thank the Spotlight friends for continuing their efforts to support the TNSF. Because of this endeavor, we can reach people from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, as said by Dr. Rajesh. It is really a wonderful webinar. It has its own national level character. I am very happy to introduce Dr. Sakila, former Tamilnadu. He is energetic, and he is not only a scientist working in a reputed institute at Madurai University. He is an international scientist working with various international scientific establishment all over the world. She is a renowned biotechnologist. She is not only a scientist but also a socially aware scientist. That's why she has been with us in the science movement for the past 20 years. She has organizing various programs along with the university and also to the public. She can be reached at any time. Though she is a syndicate member of the Madurai Kamaraj University, she is very simple, very humble. That is the quality of the scientist. She is unassuming. She will come to any place to take the scientific awareness among the people, among the students, among the women, among the teachers. He is not only a scientist but also a very good organizer of various programs like Children's Science Congress, Quiz Program, National Science Day, etc. And she is going to various colleges. Wherever she goes to the colleges, He will introduce our Tamil Nadu Science Forum, and she is a big mobilizer of Tamil Nadu Science Forum membership. Really, she is an asset to the Tamil Nadu Science Forum and also to the teaching community and the scientist community. She will raise her voice whenever there is injustice to the human being or injustice to the women or to the students. She is the right person to talk today to the teachers who are assembled here. She she is going to talk on Teachers' Day lecture with the topic on teacher-student relationship in the pandemic period. Now the pandemic period has completely physically removed the teachers and the students interaction. Instead, we are going for the webinar and online based or IT based lectures. Youths are very interesting people. My daughter is also a associate professor in a college, and she is taking online classes. They are putting their photos with our chief minister because he has cleared all the 40 arrear papers of the students. So very energetic, and is interacting with the youth in the pandemic period in the course of the online classes. It is very really interesting. Youths are very naughty people. We got to enjoy the youth's characters, youth's behavior. Even in my classes, when there is physical teaching, the people will be very the youth are very provocative, and also they will make us enjoyable. So during the pandemic time, our Dr. Shagila will share their experiences of taking classes during this period. That is COVID-19 is a new phenomenon, a new way of life, a new normal by which Dr. Shagila will share their experiences of relationship between the teachers and the students in the pandemic period. I am very happy to introduce her. It is really a wonderful experience for me to introduce her. She is a very humble scientist. Let us welcome to give us talk on the Teachers' Day. It is really a remarkable one. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
Thank you very much, sir, for giving a very detailed description and introducing me. Thanks a lot. Good morning to everyone, all the participants and the host who has arranged this particular webinar in the right time. So I take this opportunity to first wish all the teachers who are assembled here as Happy Teachers Day. Many senior professors and academicians and educators are all there. So happy Teachers Day to everyone, and good morning. And also I'm very happy to talk about this particular topic I mean, on behalf of Tamilnadu Science Forum, because I am also very closely associated with the Tamilnadu Science Forum, which is doing a very good job in implementing so many activities, particularly the scientific activities to the children, the underprivileged children, particularly who are studying in various government schools and colleges. So we are doing a wonderful job through this forum, and I hope this type of webinar also will help in lighting or giving rise to many messages to the various academicians and educators, and also the teachers and the students who are now in so much of phases in and they are now struggling their life for their academic activities also. So by that way, I am so happy to give a webinar through Tamil Nadu Science Forum, and so I give my humble thankfulness to Dr. Rajesh, who had arranged this program and who is also the president of Tamil Nadu Science Forum, and Mrs. Malachelvi, a teacher, and Mr. Hari Babu. So all the three of you, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And of course, I should thank our senior people like Dr. Rajamanikam and other academicians who are still exhibiting their help towards implementing a good education for all through Tamilnadu Science Forum. So with this, I would like to share my presentation. So kindly, I think the host should enable the screen share.
Oh, enable, ma'am. Enable. You able to share.
Okay, okay. Is it visible, sir?
Yes, madam. Yes.
I'll show through the slideshow mode. Can you please wait? I hope this is visible now.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
this
Full screen.
teacher-student relationship is a very, very important relationship which we have been having all these years, and particularly in this era where people are suffering from COVID-19, or we are all hit by this pandemic conditions. We should still maintain this relationship. It holds good both for the students as well as for the teacher. So we are all contemporaries, both the students and the teachers. We are all having contemporary scenario. We are also having the same conditions what the students face, the same thing teacher is also facing, and hence maintaining a good relationship during this pandemic era is again very, very important, because very soon we would be opening our schools and opening our colleges and universities. So in those conditions, how are we going to still renovate, or whatever relationship we had to still keep engaging and also renovate this particular relationship. So this is a very important feature which I think all the youngsters and also the teachers who are playing a very important role should be taking on. So before that, let us give our due respect to the second president of India, and also the first vice president of India, Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, because of his birthday only we are celebrating this Teachers Day on September 5, and it is always highly respected teachers, philosophers, and all those peoples and people who are all as the best minds in the country. They are all rewarded and awarded. And I would like to start this session with a quote which is mentioned by Dr. Radhakrishnan himself. He has said that the true teachers are those who help us think for ourselves. Yes, in the last few months and days, we teachers and also the students have been helping each other to come up with things that could entertain the students. So this is really happening, what Dr. Radhakrishnan once said. So just to talk about a few guides or the roles what we should play as a teacher, you all know that we teachers are always the guides who play an important role in transforming a student to a responsible citizen. So it's a very, very important feature what we are all doing. And teachers are also selflessly serving the society, and they are also helping the students to reach their aims and objectives. So what is this relationship? How do you define the student-teacher relationship? And you all know that it is one of the most powerful elements within the learning environment. And teaching is always considered as a profession of honor, and everyone is considered as respected teachers only. But nowadays, you could find that the education system is also totally commercialized, and because of that, the attitude between the students and teachers are also some sort of bitterness is there. So the modern student-teacher relationship is not defined like what it was defined previously by obedience and acceptance, but it is all defined by questioning and analysis. So that's how the student-teacher relationship is starting. So again, we have to compare the ancient relationship and now what we are facing. So in the ancient period, you all know that the teachers were given highest position in the society, and students were sincere, so sincere towards teacher, and teaching was always was considered as a service to the mankind. And students also, they had a little bit of fear from their teacher, and they would do anything for their teacher. So that was a real attitude what the students had. But now you feel both the teachers as well as the students, some sort of degradation has happened in the position of the teacher also, and the students are not very much sincere as they were before. And now the teaching is also more of earning money. It's all teaching about money and everything instead of teaching them knowledge and skills. And apart from that, we feel that a little bit of deviation has happened. And now there are no fear, which fear means it's the fear what they should have among the elders, all the teachers, that is slowly disappearing. And the time also has long gone when student would do anything for the teacher. So all these are the differences between the ancient scenario and the contemporary scenario. So that's how our student teacher relationship is now being existing. So how do we demonstrate such a personal interest in students? You all know that every student in their shoes, if you just stand on their shoes, you feel that all the students, they need to be understood, they need to be appreciated well, whatever he or she could do, and they have to be recognized properly with their uniqueness, with their own skills, with their own interests and their own personalities and their needs, because you all know that all the five fingers are not same, so it is going to be different. So similarly, all the individuals, all the students, they are not made up similarly, so they have their own skills, their own interests, their own personalities and their own needs. So it is our teachers attitude or the teachers mentality, who should appreciate them or understood them or recognize them, and make them or motivate them in such a way, and you bring out the largest skills and the interest from them. So there should be a strong foundation in the relationship. If the teacher understands and tries to demonstrate that particular feature, then I think all the students would be appreciating for the personal attention what we show as a teacher towards the students. So this is very, very important. Again, three strategies are there to show interest students as individuals. So how do we demonstrate the personal interest in students? Is we can do three things. One is we as a teacher can discover and incorporate the students' personal interest into academics. We can just find out how a student can fit into this particular academic. So that role we as a teacher should really make it up. And the second important strategy what you can really do is in students' lives is noticing the individual accomplishments and their important events in everyday's life. So that is, so each of the individual would be having their own characters. So we have to just pick up and notice and try to motivate them to bring up that particular accomplishment in any in their lives. And the third one is, as a teacher we should interact with the students as individuals. So as an individual, so that is very, very important. So a teacher to student, that personal interaction should always be existing when we are trying to handle a class full of 50 students or 60 students in a class. Even though we have a mass number of classes, certainly we have to give some time for the students to interact individually. So this is a very important strategy, I would say, that because this also has helped not only myself as a teacher to show up or bring up or motivate the students, but also has helped the students. So this is very, very important for interaction. So but nowadays, why there is a bad student teacher relationship? What could be the reasons? The reason is, one of the important reasons what the educators feel that is, we have a hectic schedule, not only for the students, for also for the teachers. Teachers are given a full timetable, and the entire hours, like for 6 to 7 hours continuously per day, a teacher is handling the class. So you can remember how psychologically the teacher is also affected, and why there is a bad teacher student relationship is going to exhibit. And similarly, the same thing is for the students also. They too have a hectic schedule. We don't give some room or some space for them to enjoy. So that is what is happening in schools, not only in schools, even in universities, in colleges also. The schedule is like that. We have converted our, because in order to finish or complete the syllabus, usually we rush up and make the students to complete the portion, study the portions, and immediately we give many exams, both internals and externals. And this type of hectic schedule will surely bring a bad student-teacher relationship. And the second reasons what the educators feel is that the strength, the class strength. So if the class strength is too much, naturally it is going to be really difficult to give individual attention. And again, for attending classes in some of the places, we consider attendance and bookish knowledge is very, very important. So those two features again you will not find in many of with many of the students. So again, that also has to be considered, and that could be also one of the reasons why a bad student teacher relationship is there. And finally, a casual attitude of the students towards studies, because nowadays you all know that yes, we are all in the era of mobile and internet, and this we never thought, even till last year we never thought that we would be entirely depending on this online instruments, because till last year we were thinking, yes, even if the students have the mobiles or the internets, somehow they come to the classes, and at least for the period of the classes what they attend, we give some attention. But now you see, during this pandemic era, since we as a teacher also depend on such internet instruments and the online instruments, and students are also mostly they are indulging in mobile and internet and all the online programs, surely you will have a casual attitude of the students towards studies. So that is going to really happen. And so these are the reasons for a bad student teacher relationship. But we have some possible ways to improve it. So we say that we can reduce our time for mobile and internet, at least till the colleges or the schools or the universities reopen. I think we have to give more time for mobile and internet only. But again, there also we can give on like a timetable. You can just give few hours for the classes, and rest of the hours the students can be given some time or some space for them to do some exercise, play, or do some games or something like that. So by that way, we can also help them in reducing some time and also changing the attitude towards studies. So you should never, as a teacher, that is what we also say in Tamilnadu Science Forum, that like a teacher, we never try to trust the students with all the examinations and studies and everything. You should relax. Know that relaxation is very, very important, because that is the one which also makes the students to get interested in their studies as well. And we reduced vacation time, of course this will not hold good nowadays in this scenario. And the fourth important way to improve is we have to do some self evaluation, both not only the students but also teachers. They should evaluate among themselves, like they should find out what is it I'm doing, am I doing it a right job, or am I taking the classes correctly, this particular topic which was given to me, have I handled it properly? If so, can I do a repetition? Because there are students who are going to be weak or who are going to be moderate. So for such students, we have to teach them again and again and try to bring them or tell them that this is the topic which is very important, or we should highlight those features which would really help them in understanding the topic what we are trying to cover. And the last important ways what they say is teachers should be impartial toward all the students and aim at their overall personality development only. So these are all some of the ways which we could really do in order to improve our student teacher relationship. And again, when you talk about students teacher relationship, with the five things students they really expect from the teachers. So we should understand the psychology of the students. So the students, they expect us to show the moments of wonder, and also the father thing is understanding of the world, of their world, because their world is completely different from our adults world. So we should just stand on their shoes and think whatever they understood is whether in the right nature or not. If so, if not so, we should try to slowly rectify. And the third thing, what the students expect is the mutual trust. We should have trust with each other. And then you should not be very serious, always humorous. Always our class, even now with the Google classrooms or even the Zoom classrooms, we should have some humorous bit should be there, so not being very serious. And always the fifth one is the lively environment. Yeah, always at least all these days we were having a live class, and in front of us students were sitting and we were taking classes. But now students are away from us, they're all sitting in various places, and we are in some corner of the world, and so we have to try to interact them in a lively environment. So there also some lively environment should be brought in. So but if we understand this psychology, I think the student teacher relationship would again go in a better condition. And these are all the some positive points I thought, which I will just implement before I go on about the pandemic era problems. Now today the students, they feel no hesitation at all in asking questions, that all of you would have realized. Like it can be on the topic, or it can be something away from the topic also. But we teachers, we should be ready to answer those questions. It can be about the topic or it can be something else. So we should coolly try to answer the questions without any hesitation. So that is a very important point the teacher should have. And again, this is a second point which we have already dealt, that friendship bond should always be increasing among the students and the teachers. And this interaction should also start increasing between, it's not only the bond friendship, but also the interaction. We should always try to talk to these students either through the phone at this scenario, or through Google Meet, or through your lively do your discussions or video conferencing or something like that. So all these points will surely bring up a good student teacher relationship. But again, when I'm talking about the positive points, I have to mention about the negative points also. You would agree with me that there is a generation gap between the students and teachers. Now we have given a gap. No, I do not, let us not blame anybody, but this gap has happened. So how do we fill up this gap? How do we come closer so that this type of relationship would exist throughout we live in this world. And you all know that technology is again bridging a gap in the relationship. And now adding to that, I need not mention that during this pandemic era, we are forced to take our classes online. And this technology is, we are forced to take the classes just to complete the syllabus, that's it. So the duty of the teacher is he or she would be completing the syllabus through online. But whether the students have understood what you took, whether the students were capable of taking up the points, what you took, the topics, what you covered, whether they understood or not, we do not know. We only, if they are present in person, we would be getting that information. But right now, the technology has given a gap in the relationship. And I also say that some people have really become money minded also. These are all some of the negative points which I collected from the internet again. But I would say personally, money also is at the last. But I would say personally that generation gap has really happened, and that we cannot blame anybody because of the scenario what is happening nowadays, and because of the other so many parameters which are being there in our life, not only in our personal life but also the official life and other features. So these are all the points to be considered. So if we rectify these points, maybe our student teacher relationship can really survive even like what happened in the previous years. So I just want to ask a question. Yes, have the technology, is the technology is solely responsible for having a gap between student teacher relationship, or will the technology is going to replace the teacher? Because I'm also scared, the whatever the pandemic era, you will find that most of the students are now solely they dependent on the tools, outside tools. Nowadays you all know that even us, we are mostly we rely on Google. we rely on other internet tools. So if that is the situation, we are really worried whether this particular technology is going to replace the teacher. The live teacher who was available for us once upon a time, under whom we were all studying and gathering all the informations, no, not only about the academics but also other extracurricular activities, everything was taught by our teacher. Until now we have that knowledge what we have gained from our teacher only. So for me also, my teacher was the best example, I would say, who had taught me everything, like how to even give a talk, how to even go for attending a conference, how do you present a presentation, how do you develop your community skills. Everything my teacher only has taught me all these years, before I came into as a professor in Madurai Kamaraj University. So whatever he taught me all these years, now I am trying to teach my students. But now this technology has come in between and trying to bridge a gap between the student teacher relationship. So we are all scared whether this technology would completely replace the teacher. That should not happen, because you all know that most of us students, particularly our own children, they are wrongly misdirected by the technology. Even though there are some good things about technology, but because of other things, other external forces, these students are misdirected. So we have to again shape them, take them along with the technology, whether we as a teacher could really help them to bring them up in their livelihood. So that's how we should talk about in this scenario. And but still, there are evidences saying that technology cannot replace teachers, because we the teachers only, we give instructional tasks or the skills, and we know that only human beings can still do better than any equipments or any electronic devices, because we only provide soft skill coaching, we give the personal touch, we only give the warmth and the feedback and the encouragement, and we motivate them, and we all the emotional psychological feelings, whatever is given by the student, we only take it up, and as a behavioral thing, we only corrected everything. So there is again, as a humorous nature also, we human beings, we could demonstrate a sense of humor. So I'm 100% sure that technology cannot replace teachers, but still we should be very, very careful in this scenario, because this is a scenario where you all know that our children, 90% of their time they are spending with technology. No, they don't find time in talking to us or conversing with us, or even spending time with the family members. So all those things are showing some hindrances. But if that is taken away, I think surely the technology cannot be replaced by it cannot be, technology cannot replace the we teachers. So teachers are always the prominent professionality, and that will always remain in our system, and that nobody can be, teachers cannot be replaced by any technology whatsoever it comes. So that is evident nowadays. And so, but before that, we should give some classroom practices. There are some recommendations, they say. So apart from physical gestures and movements, we should have some positive interaction strategies, and some of the affirmative reactions which are given by the students to incorrect responses, or affirmative reactions to the incorrect responses also should be taken, because some of the students, they may not give correct responses. So we, the teachers, should be able to balance the situation in that condition also. So these are all the some of the recommendations for good classroom practice, and I think we teachers should always have this, then only we can maintain a good student teacher relationship. So to just give a brief thing about the first point, the first classroom practice, you all know that all these days we used to sit in front of the classroom and we used to have eye contact. Now eye contact is supposed to be one of the best methodology, and also the physical gestures and movements which made the student to have some confidence in them, and also motivating them for their studies and everything. So eye contact and also moving around the room. No, that is all these things we were enjoying when we are taking classrooms. And also individually, we go to the individual and look around them and listen to them. We just hear them. We just ask them what is the problem, why you are not able to perform this test. Okay, you do well next time. So all these listening and understanding their conditions, this type of physical gestures and movements is really needed for a good classroom practice. Even I would say, even if the students come back after this corona period or the pandemic area, we should still follow the physical gestures and movements, and it is one of the important practices of the student teacher relationship. And of course, the second strategy is you attribute ideas and comments to those who offered them, and we have to encourage everyone's participation. All the students who are there in that particular classroom, everyone should be allowed to participate. So we should make them participate and encourage them to participate, even if they are shy, even something makes them, or if they are not able to bring or pinpoint some of the problems or talk about the topics, even in that situation also we should try to encourage everyone's participation. And we should provide some time, wait time. We should know, if you ask them a question immediately, they will not be able to answer. So we should give some time for them to think it over and answer later on, even individually. These are all some positive interaction strategies. And of course, we teachers should always have this affirmative reactions to incorrect responses, because we should never tell the students that they should have known the answer. No, it is not true. Because all the students may not be knowing the answers. So just we cannot pinpoint them and say that you should have known the answer. No, it's not correct. So we can just give some characters. We can give the question and ask them, like, you find out the answer and tell us. So that should be the response from the teacher. And then another negative thing is, never the teacher should ignore a response, whatever it is, whether it is a positive response or a negative response, whatever the answer or the response, whatever the students are trying to give, we should never ignore them. And please, the teachers should always avoid subjective comments about incorrect answers. Some way or the other, the students may not be would not be telling correct answers. So we should not downgrade them, and we should not be commenting them all in front of other classmates. So that is very, very important. And never allow negative comments from other students as well. So you give some hints and cues. If the student is not able to understand the question, restate the question in such a way the student would be able to answer the question. Or you allow the students to opt out. You should give that much of liberty and provide the answer and task for elaboration, and also acknowledge the students' participation. So these are all the positive reactions. And if at all, if we have some negative reactions, kindly convert it into a positive reaction, so that the students will try to bond with all the teachers and their teachers, particularly whomsoever we are trying to teach. So again, this is a usual, I am not a right person to talk about do's and don'ts, but we do find that we teachers sometime, or even including myself, we will not have enough time to spend individually with each student. But that is very, very important. Always make an effort to spend time individually with each student, especially people who are very difficult to come out, or people who are shy. And you give an effort to get to know and connect with each student in the classroom, and always be aware of the explicit and implicit messages you are giving to your students. So students, you all know that very young, so they will remember what you say. So whatever we teachers say, they are going to remember throughout their lifetime. So that's what I'm also doing. I'm remembering my words and thoughts, what my teacher had told me all these days. So same thing would happen all these years also. And hence we should try to be very careful whatever messages we are trying to give. So that is the important thing what we should take now. So if at all some harm has been done, how can we restore and repair the relationship? Is there any opportunity we can do that? Yes, there are 3 R's which are being given. One is reconnect, repair, and restore. So please, we teachers have to remember this relationship. Of course, this is not suitable. This is not only suitable for the teacher. I think for the student also it will be really suitable. The 3 R's we should remember in mind. One is you find some time to reconnect with the student, and similarly student can find some time to reconnect with the teacher. And again, repairing. So if you have some communication problem or some statements or something like that, or you can try to repair by forgiving the student or asking for forgiveness. That is very important. We teachers, we never ask forgiveness. So we think like we are elder to them. Should I ask forgiveness? No. Even if that has happened even in my period of my university also, if I have said something wrong, or if that statement went wrong by mistake, like when I used to take classes haribarili, by mistake I would have told a false statement as a true statement. If that has been made, and if a student pinpoints me, immediately I would say, oh my god, that was correct, wrong statement what I made, I'm sorry for that. So exclusively, I'm extremely sorry for giving a wrong statement, so please forgive me. So that type of forgiveness mechanism should be there, particularly for the students. Students, I don't know in this scenario whether student would be asking for forgiveness, but we teachers, we can really repair that and try to restore our communication. So this 3 R's, namely restoring, repairing, and reconnecting, is very, very important in order to bring up or boost up the student teacher relationship. So we always have to work to restore the relationship with the student, and also vice versa. So here at this stage, I would like to bring upon one important aspect. What a teacher can really do is counseling. You all know that nowadays students are having so much of pressures, like how we have pressure. We are adults, we can face the pressures, but being a student, being in the childhood days, it is really pathetic to see that some of the small children are having so much of pressures in their family. They are having domestic violence, you have depression, grief, and for some having sexual problems and childhood sexual abuse, stress, and classroom related tensions and disputes. All these are there. At this scenario, I think we teachers should provide an opportunity to talk with the students in person. So that is called counseling. And you all know that counseling is designed to facilitate the student achievement, improve their behavior, and also their attendance, of course, and help the students to develop socially. So by that way, I think we would be playing a very, very high responsible role in shaping a good citizen of India. So here, counseling is very, very important. And nowadays, during this pandemic period also, my humble request to all the teachers is, that's what I do in my online classes. Before I start my online classes, just for 10 minutes, I will just relax, find out whether everybody is fine from their end, and any internet problem or network problem or mobile problem, whatever they have, each one would be sharing with me. They would be nicely talking in a relaxing manner, and then only in the after 15 minutes or 10 minutes time only, I would start taking the classes. So you give some space, no, you counsel there itself. So even during online classes also, no, it can be a general counseling, like you bring up all the students together and give a general counseling. So that also will help the students to bond and have a good student teacher relationship. Now let us go this pandemic scenario. This is the problem. This is what all of us are facing now. We teachers, again, and also the students are having a very serious, they are all having a very, so much of problems during this pandemic situation. So till May, July or even till June or July also, we did not have regular online classes. But you know that afterwards, after July third week and fourth week onwards, regular online classes have started happening. And all the teachers from their grassroots level, whatever they could do, whether they have a facility or not, everyone started taking classes online. So this is from the teachers perspective. And students, they are also started listening to the classes. But you know that both of us are having problem, both the students as well as the listeners. Sorry, the listeners here are the students and also the teachers. Both of us are having problem. Now the problem lies when you start taking the online class. You would have seen in the, even now when we started the webinar, we had some technical problems. So some technical problems will be there between the students and the teachers during the classes. And not only the technical problems, the students who are coming from the rural side, no, they will not be having all these facilities what these children are having now, what I'm showing here. So in such cases, how these students are managing? No, we should consider as a teacher, you would have been hearing many incidences where many teachers are playing very important role to make sure that all the students listen to whatever we are trying to teach. So making the students understand during this pandemic, particularly through online classes, is very, very difficult. And again, students sitting in one position and trying to write down the notes or trying to write down the assignments or trying to answer the quizzes or the questions, again it is going to be very difficult. So both of us, both the students and the teachers, are having very, very tough time. But we have to cross this tough time also. We cannot be sitting just like this. We have to show some way of adaptations, and we have to cross this tough time and see to it that we are still able to do or give the knowledge to the students, so that they are also able to grasp whatever we are trying to say. So this is very, very important. So how do we make teaching online feel less isolating? So working from home can be very tough for educators who all feed off the energy of the students and co-workers, but there are always some ways to feel more connected. So, but the worst thing what I feel isolated is I'm physically separated from students and colleagues, and we are all forced to learn how to manage the loneliness, because I'm sitting alone in my office room and sitting alone in my home and teaching the students, and the students are also sitting at alone in their house, and they are trying to learn. So this type of physical separation is again a psychological problem which we all would be facing. Both the teachers as well as the students would be facing this. So again, some of the teachers, they feel really guilty teaching remotely, because they don't feel that they were teaching effectively. That is there even with me. I'm also trying to take classes regularly, but I'm not able to show my that complete whatever I that complete portions or the complete teaching what I was doing all these days offline was not happening online. So that problem is really there, because we feel that communicating through a computer screen is always impersonal. It's not personal. So when are we going to come back, and when are we going to do our regular classes? This is what is all going into our minds, not only from the students mind of view, but also all the teachers are also really, we are waiting for the days when we would be meeting our students, because personal eye to eye contact and gesturing the students and teaching them in a regular class mode is the one which is really not happening nowadays. And I would say because of that, we all feel less isolated. But how to make teaching online feel less isolating is we have to try to improve our teaching methodologies. So in this pandemic era, teaching methods have also changed. You all know that. And teachers should mustn't internalize the guilt for being unable to demonstrate their love in the ways what they would do before COVID-19. So we also should get over, and we should try to let go of all the feeling which is responsible for the things which cannot control. It is not in our hands. So once the situations come back, till then we have to be following these technologies only. We have to rely on that. But the best thing what you can do is teachers should try to focus on the fact that they do their best during this COVID situation and restore the student trust in their ability to show love through teaching and learning. So, not only through offline but also through online classes, we can just bring that trust also. So, that should happen. So, what is it we are trying to take away from teaching through COVID? So teachers should be intentional in efforts to keep themselves calm. So, and also we should be mentally centered. You all know that as a teacher, we also are having lot of pressures in, having the family pressures, outside pressures, and work atmosphere pressure. Everything is there, and amongst this, in the midst of this, we should be taking the classes for the students. So we should try to engage ourselves in self care. The teachers should care about themselves and mastering the pedagogy of love and loneliness. And I think we will make it through this difficult season altogether. So that mastering, that slowly only nowadays, even the government school teachers are now trying to take classes online through the televisions and through YouTubes and through online modes and everything. So that is also happening. But at the same time, we should try to engage in our self-care, mastering the pedagogy of love and loneliness. I think by that technology, by that technique, we would be able to make it up even this difficult season altogether. Now, just I would like to highlight our 8 strategies which we can really show in order to improve our participation in virtual classroom. So in every classrooms all these days, we were having multi-channel experience. That means on the left side you can see the multi-channel, which is a physical communicative classroom, whereas now we are having virtual classroom. Now virtual classroom will bring only a mono-channel experience. That means only you will be talking. As a teacher, you will be talking, and we do not know whether the student is listening to us, or he is responding to us, or he has understood what we have taught. So this is a mono channel. So when compared to multi-channel, it is going to be really difficult for a mono-channel group of classrooms. So it is very difficult to teach the students in the virtual classrooms. But do we have any strategies to improve our participations? Yes, we have a few strategies. One of that important strategy, even I have done in my classroom, is spider web discussion. This as soon as you type in the Google, you will learn everything about the spider web discussion. Now, spider, the S stands for synergetic, P stands for practiced, and I is independent, and D is developed, E is exploration, and R is rubric. So these 6 techniques will bring about a good discussion among the students. So it's a synergetic experience. That means you teacher give some topic, and not only you discuss, you make each one of the students, it's a one-time activity which can be discussed either in the form of writing or in the form of talking also. And by that way, the teacher will be running the show, but at the same time, the students also would be running the show because of the live discussions. And as and when there is an interference needed, the teacher can give a little bit of interference, but it is a fully independent mode discussion. And by this way, whatever topic you want to give, you just give a topic and try to bring about a clear, concise rubric against which the students can easily undergo for self-assessment. So that is called spider web discussion. And this is a discussion actually helped so many students who come out, who have really they were not good, or they were psychologically were affected, they could come out and discuss and talk to the teacher, and also talk to their own other friends also, the classmates in the same classroom, the virtual classroom. So this is one strategy we can really think of. The other strategy is, of course, we have chat. So using the chat also, people feel that chat is one of the fantastic tools for teachers in the online classroom. So we can use it as a teaching aid to reinforce whether about the instructions, or about you want to give something to add to the students, or the students want to add or share their answers and opinions, and even ideas, sharing ideas. All these can be done by way of chat. So this is the second strategy, what we can do really in the virtual classroom. And the third strategy is flipping your classroom to stimulate deeper discussion. That is, teachers can teach through recorded videos and online activities, which I think many of the schools and colleges and universities are doing. So what we do is, you send the recorded videos, and let the students, you give some time to them, let them go through the videos and the live class, online activity, whatever is happening, and then come back to the classroom for a deeper discussion. So this is called flip your classroom to stimulate deeper discussion. So students would briefly, after listening to the video, students can be allowed to summarize what they have learned from that particular video, and they can be divided into some groups, and each of them can solve a particular related problems in small groups, and then they can come back online to discuss with the teacher. So this is a third strategy which all the teachers can think in this virtual world. And the fourth strategy is adapting think, pair, share to Zoom. You all know that nowadays either Zoom or Google Meet is now is in upper position, and we are using these technologies to give to teach the students. So we by this fourth strategy, we give the students as much of the freedom as possible to do their own experiments at home, or even some research activities, and also to pursue interests within our content area, whatever you are trying to discuss. So this also, you allow them to think in pairs, that means in groups, in two. So two students can be aligned, and they can be broken down into groups, and then each of these two students can share their answers by way of Google Doc, or we have a lot of other features also. And by this way, we are making the students to share their thinking either in writing or also in reading aloud, because I think nowadays we don't have this procedure of reading aloud. At least in our classrooms, when we were alive, and when we were trying to take classroom classes in the open classrooms, we were asking them to read something. But now in the online virtual classrooms, we are not giving any chance for the students to read aloud. So this fourth strategy will make the students to think a lot, and also write, and also read aloud. So we are allowing them to speak. So this is the fourth strategy. And the fifth strategy is a new twist on show and tell. That is, I show something like showing some important, for example, if I am a science teacher, I show a picture about coronavirus or COVID-19 or a real-time PCR. So immediately the student, after seeing that coronavirus picture, should tell something. So what is all whatever essays or the discussions or the writings which they were doing all these days, they should try to speak. For that, we have to listen. We teachers have to listen. So this is called a show and tell program. So these are all the 5 strategies. What I mentioned is all synchronous strategies. That means we are all synchronized. Both teachers and the students work together, and you bring about this strategy. So that's how we can, at this era, we can try to improvise our student-teacher relationship. But apart from this, there are other asynchronous strategies also, where we can, it will be resembling like a traditional classrooms, where many educators, they found that asynchronous discussions were more equitable because it opened up many participations to the students with even with low bandwidth and who had scheduled limitations, or people who could not, who are not comfortable engaging with the full class. So that type, for such students, we can bring about asynchronous strategies. One among that is, there is a, I think if you go into the option, you find a program called Nearpod Collaborate. It is not only meant for Apple, but also for any Android users. This Nearpod Collaborate, this is just, I'm also new to this, I'm just learning. It brings about a virtual collaboration. It's a virtual collaboration board where the students will be sharing their images, and then they would write a response to show what they had learned from that image. And then and that virtual board collaboration board, first it will be among the students will be sharing with each other, and then finally the students can bring it to the notice of the teacher also. So you have another such mode which is called flip grid. Again, that also inspires the connection and the reflection among the classmates. And using this flip grid, you can really bring about conversations as like a homework assignments, and continue their conversation next day also. The convocation can be whatever conversation you are doing, it can be typed and it can be written and it will be visible to every one of us. So this is called flip grip, and it is provides an opportunity for students to even post review the books or even the movies. You can ask them to talk about even about the television shows. Everything can be shared. So this is another strategy. But the seventh strategy is gallery walk. Now, by this, they say you critiquing peer work through virtual gallery walks. So, virtual gallery walks makes the students to have an opportunity to view their classmates' projects. So, this is according to one school teacher, Jo Marangal. She was teaching like this, and students are also were learning from each other. How do you make that? This can be made using Google Sheets. So students can be provided, you can give a feedback to by answering the following prompts, like what's something new I have learned about this topic. So you give that as a question. Immediately they will respond in the sheet and answer you. Then what's something that surprised me about this topic? And what did you like about this presentation? All these things can be written on the Google Sheet, and this sheet can be sent anytime. It can be through mail or through WhatsApp or anytime. And this online format has given every student the opportunity to see their work and their assessment on their for deepest reflection. So this is one. This is called as gallery walk, virtual gallery walk. So virtually, you walk into their the class notes or the homeworks what you give, and we teachers tell, yeah, your answer is correct, but you please try to look for some other thing also, and you make sure whether the topic is correct or not. So like that, you can give some comments, and students would be really happy that their work was assessed based on whatever they had presented in the Google Sheet. And the last one is, of course, a brainstorming online. So you bring about activities like how a traditional classroom environment would be there. Like that, we can create small groups where the students can rotate around the room to different stations to answer the prompts and view and add to each group's responses. So everything is going to happen virtually. So such brainstorming online, of course, it is not very famous in India, but in foreign countries it's are happening because they have facilities. But in our country, we cannot expect such facilities to be available in the rural area. So so we have to try to bring at least the maximum ways by which the students will bring about the maximum attention and their participation and their happiness about participating in such activities online. But your learners are the valuable resource. You all know that as a teacher, for me, the learners are the valuable resource. For me, the students are the valuable resource. So So we have to remember that our students will come to class with their own ideas, opinions, and experiences. So we should try to use this to engage our learners, and also remember that you also have the world at our fingertips. So even they have the world at their fingertips, and think about whether the learners can find resources for the class or during the class by visiting various websites. So accordingly, we have to make arrangements and see whether we can get maximum number of learners. So for me, the learners are the resources. So I should see whether the valuable resources are available with us throughout the online teaching. So this is just these are the some 25 strategies what a Zoom meeting would say. Any blog, if you go, you would say that you engage the students on your next Zoom meeting by sharing the screen or the whiteboard or annotate or breakout rooms, virtual. So many options are there, but there is a question whether all these options or any one of these options are available to all your children. So that is very, very important. So how can the students best utilize their time during this particular lockdown due to COVID-19? So because like what the problems what we face, they are also facing. So how are we going to best utilize their time? We can advise them to, apart from their studies, we can always tell them, or even our own children, we can tell them, please spend your time either gardening or your habit, your whatever hobby you have, drawing or doing exercises or attending online classes or joining different languages or online classes or helping your father and mother or helping your parents, and very importantly, reading stories. So that is what is lacking for the current generation, in the current generation, and encouraging them to play indoor games, even outdoor game also, slowly, small group, and then try making them to read and see, watch movies and everything. All these activities would really boost the students so that they show some attention to their virtual classes. So as a teacher and also as a parent, we have that responsibility in telling our children, like, not only get involved in their online classes regularly, but also do their extracurricular activities. And I think here our science forum also is also playing a tremendous amount of role, wherein we are trying to bring them out of that particular pressure what they are facing during this pandemic era by involving them in various activities other than studies. You can try to involve them in various competitions or various activities just to boost them. And story reading works. Nowadays people are reading stories to the children or even to grown-ups and everything. So all these activities we can still really boost up to maintain the healthiness or the healthy nature of the students, so that this relationship between the students and the teacher would really prevail. And this lockdown has triggered a rise in mental health issues. You all know that among the students. A study in Delhi University in the recently March to April, Delhi University, they conducted a study, and they found that there are two types of students who are having mental health problem. Some group of students, they are already their existing mental problems have exacerbated. So that means they had whatever mental problem they had, now this pressure is has added to them, and they are having a severe psychological problems. The other group of people, they are having mental health problems which is solely linked to the lockdown. So how are we going to bring back these children to a normal scenario? So all of us, including the teachers, have found or are suffering from psychological problem. So in one of the studies which was done, which is as I shown here, it was recently April 2020, this was published, and they have shown that 34.4% of the students have felt stressed sometime in the week, whereas 22% of the students felt stressed often in the week. and 15% of the students are always stressed due to the threat of coronavirus. But overall, 51.4% of students are stressed in this condition of threat. And in that, very shocked to hear that 69.8% of the students are stressed about their studies. They are worried. Because you all know that now it is, we do not know what is going to happen. Now every day we are listening to the news, like final years, they are going to come and write the exams, and pre-final years, their arrears will be passed. So many things are happening in the government, and so students are now pressurized and they are stressed and they do not know about their future. So they are worried about their studies. And this study has also showed that 78.5% of the students, they are not comfortable with online class. So we are in a situation like we are now teaching only some 25% of the students who are comfortable. So what is happening to the rest of the students? Why, since they are not comfortable, how are we going to bring them or make them comfortable with the original classes what we are going to take or handle? So all these problems are there around us. Then only this relationship is going to be happening. And there are 6 things which are helping your well-being during lockdown. That is for the students as well as for the teachers. What to say is, you always stay connected, keep yourselves busy with various hobbies, get physical exercises, do it, like can be indoors or outdoors. You do whatever you want to do, but stay calm. We are all in this together. And then manage the information, and then maintain the routine life. Whatever the routine life we could do, we have to maintain that and always be remain calm. So that is the thing what we have to learn. So now recently we are hearing that schools are going to reopen after 14, or it is going to reopen after October, November. We do not know. Again, it's a question mark. But already news have come that some of the schools are going to open and colleges are going to open after the lockdown. How are we going to do? How are we going to manage? Again, after the lockdown, how are we going to maintain our relationship with our students? How the gap which was happening between the students and the teacher is going to be healed? So all these things should be considered. And for that, a humble request is, so we teachers should not rush up the syllabus. And because we have to recognize the need for the emotional healing of the students, because emotionally everybody is hit. So we have to heal them slowly and then trust them with the syllabus. I cannot use the word trust also. We should slowly feed the syllabus. So children are returning to the schools, or students are going to return to the universities or the colleges. They would be returning from various rural backgrounds who need support, not only psychologically, but also emotionally. So we have to enable them to get back into the rhythm of learning, because that rhythm of learning is lost during these 4 to 5 months. So we have to get them back to that purpose and try to gear up. And pathetically, you all know that some children would have experienced the illness or death of a family member during this pandemic era. Some may have lived with the reality or threat of displacement, and some have traveled hundreds of miles from various cities where they have been evicted. And even for those who are not experienced any direct trauma or abuse, the fear of this pandemic must have had a significant impact in all those children, not only in students but also teachers. So we teachers, we have more responsibility. We had more responsibilities, but now after the pandemic era, when the colleges are going to open, when the universities are going to open, or when the schools are going to have open, we have to very carefully, very tactfully, we have to handle the situation. So it is the responsibility of the not only the teachers but also the administrators to enact the strategies to support the children in this scenario. So teachers first have to be sensitized, and they have to be trained to refrain themselves from rushing into completing the curriculum or jumping straightly into the formal teaching. So don't go directly there. We have to give a considerable amount of time in order to heal and help each other. Both of us, even we are affected, even students are affected. So since we are contemporaries with each other, so I think both of us should slowly come away from this pandemic situation and slowly heal ourselves and also help each other and bring the student to the normal position. There is a fellow educationist, Subir Shukla, who has mentioned that emotional rehabilitation, and in order to do that, schools must get prepared for small group listening, small group talking, and play acting exercises. So that is very, very important. There should be some free unstructured space for these children to unwind themselves. So it is not only for small children, I think even for the college students. We are every day we are hearing so much of suicidal cases and all those things. So we should make the children understand the current scenario and heal them properly and bring them to the exact wavelength what we are trying to imbibe. So with this, I think before the schools reopen, it would be absolutely essential for all the teachers to come together in groups, and even they should have been given space to voice about their fears and concerns. So even first the teachers should be ready, emotionally ready, and they have to be given the skills which are required to reach out, and they also should work with the children with empathy and understanding. So teachers need full training and concrete strategies to work with the children. So after this, slowly the teachers can try to move with the children. Then only this student-teacher relationship can work out very effectively and very efficiently like previous days. And at this juncture, I feel a forum like Tamilnadu Science Forum, which is already reaching out to many teachers and many students. Again, we also should be working hard to conduct so many programs in smaller groups with social distancing, with mask and with other disinfectant and everything, whatever guidelines we have to follow during this pandemic situation, we have to follow that, and accordingly we have to train the teachers first, and then we have to train the students as well also. So we have got more responsibilities in this scenario, but I'm sure with these, once the responsibilities has been taken care by the teachers and the students, I'm sure this relationship is going to excel, and everybody is going to be really happy in times to come. So not only the orientation for the teachers, but we have to start a orientation for the students. So Science Forum can bring about many activities for the students before the reopening happens. So we can think of so many small activities which the students can refresh themselves before they come for the regular classes. Like what we do for teachers training, similarly students also can be given an orientation course at least for a few weeks, and then they can keep going for the next classes. So this is how the student teacher relationship is going to come up in days to come together, and this is how we are all going to live happily with the relationship which has already been there. So with this, I again thank the organizers for giving me the wonderful opportunity to express my views about this particular relationship, what we have been having all these days and we would be having hereafter the days to come together. Thank you so much. Sir, hello? Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am, for your wonderful presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Regarding teacher-student relationship during pandemic, and it is how we can work manner, and we are very much thankful to you, madam. And this forum is open for discussion. Any question, if you are audience, if you have any question, you can ask in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself.
Oh, ma'am.
There is a question, one question which say one Dr. Vikas Kumar Sharma is asking, teachers are leaving because of salary problems, what to do? Yeah, this is a scenario wherein all of us are having this problem. And not only teachers, because you all know the economical conditions which are happening in our country right now. See, all the other daily wages people, everybody is affected. So again, government should make sure that teachers who are there, who are handling this particular situation to take classes for the children, should be there in regular position. So that part of the thing should be in concern with the government. But still, yes, yeah, if the teachers are going to leave, again, it will be very problematic for that respective school or the students. So it's a loss for the student only. So I think, yes, that part should be taken care by the government. Yeah, one Dr. Rafia Asmin has asked, teachers are putting their maximum effort, but they are unable to reach all the students. So yes, as you said, that's true in my case also. Like if I have for PG course, we are having MSc Biotechnology course, and we have 20 to 25 students at a time. But when we are taking classes, all the 25 would be there to attend the class. But after a period of time, when because I usually take only for 45 minutes, because you know that after 45 minutes the connection would go, internet problem, all is there. But within that 45 minutes also we find some technical problems. Sometimes university you will have power off, and so internet off, and the same thing will happen with the students also, wherever they are coming, but no other go. But I would say that next day I will just send a mail, like whatever you could not hear
Thank
from that
you.
topic, maybe I would send as in the form of PDF, or I can send the PowerPoint slide presentation or the notes in the form of PDF. I would just communicate to them through mail. So if there are any doubts, please ask me. That's what I send it. In this scenario, it's reaching all the students. Everybody is having that problem. So we have to see to it that we are able to cover maximum number of students. Yes, that problem is there. Unless we all come offline, this problem would be continuously happening. That we cannot escape.
So thank you, madam. I request Malaj Selvi to say vote of thanks.
I am here. We hope you have gathered a useful thoughts and suggestions from this webinar. I thank Dr. Shagla ma'am for giving us wonderful talk on teacher-student relationship with GPD and real-life problems. I thank Professor Radhamanikam, AET and General Secretary, for pointing out special qualities of today's guest speaker, Dr. Shagla ma'am. I thank Mudalakshmi for finding a wonderful time song to start the webinar. I thank Madurai District CMS President Dr. Rakesh for giving wisdom and gave effort for arranging this webinar. I thank Spotlight YouTube channel for coordinate and conduct this webinar successfully University in Madurai. I thank all participants from various states and districts from Tamil Nadu to spending your own time to participate in this webinar. And also thank once again, I give my sincere thank you. Then once again, I thank Mr. Spotlight YouTube channel, one of the Spotlight YouTube channel, and Srinivasan for joining us to conduct more activities. Thank you once again. Thank you all.
Thank you, participants. Feedback form is in the chat box. You can fill and submit. Feedback form will not be distributed in the WhatsApp. It will be here only. And I request everyone to fill it and you'll get a certificate. Thank you. Thank you, one and all. Thank you all. Sir, session முடிச்சிடலாம் sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Srinivasan, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Srinivasan. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Close பண்ணிடலாமா சார்?
பண்ணிடலாம் சார். Over. Thanks.
Class is over, ma'am.
Yes, over.